Hi, I'm Ross, and I'm here with my friend James, and today we are going to be talking about another Mortal Kombat movie.
Mortal fucking Kombat, baby!
That genuinely scared me. Unlike some other blockbusters we've talked about this year, I don't know that I would say I was excited for this.
Me neither. I saw the trailer once and I was like, that's cool. I haven't played Mortal Kombat since Mortal Kombat 9.
It
really.
looks like a Mortal Kombat movie that would be made in the 2020s, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You've fallen a long way since you led the Black Dragon.
You don't tell me about the Black Dragon. I am the Black Dragon.
You can't take yourself as seriously,
Yeah.
is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That is kind of the problem most video game movies have. They're trying to strike this balance between being a unique interpretation of the games that works as a movie, which tonally has to be different from whatever the games might do, and trying to be faithful to the spirit of the games. And that clash is what I think kills a lot of video game movies. And while I didn't hate this one, I would say that is this one's biggest problem.
yeah, I feel like you're gonna have to start out, like, with the first one being the start of a series.
Yeah.
Because there's so much in it and there's so much they can do and so many characters.
For the movie itself, the most important aspect of it is the action, which I would say is the standout part of this movie. It's the most exciting, the most engaging parts. The character stuff really wasn't doing it for me, but whenever they start punching each other, I was entertained, so it functions.
Yeah, there was a lot more talking in this movie than fighting, unlike the first Mortal Kombat from
Yeah.
1995.
Yeah, you're right.
Which, you know, one of the main reasons why I did enjoy Mortal Kombat 1995, even though it was pretty ugly looking.
Yeah.
Like, the fights were still fun, even though the fights weren't great. They were still fun.
A little less of this. A little more of this. Come on.
See, the problem with trying to adapt something like Mortal Kombat, which is so reliant on the player's experience with it, it's not like other story-based games. Something like Uncharted I could see working as a movie, or Tomb Raider, and they are making movies out of those regularly. But with Mortal Kombat, it's hard to not feel like you're just watching people dress up as like Halloween costume versions of these characters, and they say the catchphrases and they do the moves from the game, but watching that is just so much less interesting than playing it.
Yeah, I feel like what they could have done is, instead of focusing on multiple characters from like for the Mortal Kombat tournament, you focus on just one of the video game characters. And I understand, like, they tried making Cole, you know, famous Mortal Kombat character Cole,
Iconic character Cole Young.
into, you know, like, the main guy, and you know, he did all right for what he got.
He's fine.
Like, I thought he'd be cool in the game.
I mean, everything about Cole Young's character, from the family to the bracelet that turns into the power to like the farmhouse and him, it all just smacked of studio notes to me of,
yeah.
we need a normal, relatable guy who's thrown in, and they just didn't do that with some other character. It could have been Johnny Cage. That might have felt repetitive. I don't know.
Kinda wins.
This movie is trying to be a lot of things, and this may sound weird, but it very rarely feels like it's trying to be a Mortal Kombat movie. It just kind of feels like a bunch of references to other Mortal Kombat stuff that you, the audience, may be familiar with, and the fans definitely are.
Flawless victory.
There aren't really any characters in this movie. There are people who show up and say things, but the characterization and arcs are just so... They all feel like an afterthought. Even Cole's, which is sort of an arc, but every character's arc is just, how do I use my magic power? That's it. Everyone does that. The resolution of everyone's arc is that.
Because if you fail to discover your inner power, you will never defeat your opponent.
When the opening scene was going on and Sub-Zero was just summoning ice out of nowhere, I was like, oh, he can just do that. He has magic powers. Okay, it's a Mortal Kombat movie. I can accept that. Gods are real. There are other dimensions with monster people. I do not need the magic explained to me.
I think I get it now. It's kind of like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Is it going to be fireballs?
We need to have a training sequence for the tournament that isn't in this movie, and we need them to not be able to use all their abilities right away. So there's some sort of triggering moment. But for Kano, all it is they piss him off.
Yeah.
And with Cole, it's like seeing his family about to get murdered by a giant monster. So
Makes more sense.
How does it work?
Ross, I have a question for you, though.
Okay.
If you were to murder somebody and then all of a sudden get this Mortal Kombat badge on your skin, what would your, sleeping power be?
Well, it seems to magnify some aspect of their personality and focus it, or at least I think so, because sometimes it's just like a hat. I think it would be that my already enormous penis would because of how simple this movie is too. I kind of feel like any sequels to this will just be the same thing with different people if they have to just awaken their arcanos.
Your inner power comes from your Arcana, a gift from the marking of the dragon.
Was it Oncano?
I think it's
That's from Skyrim.
Arcana, like in D&D. You know?
Arcana.
You have failed to find the Arcana.
They say it 100 times in the movie. Why could I not
That's
remember?
weird. I'm hoping they just pull like a Godzilla versus Kong and flip the feeling of it a little bit and kind of just make it more just for fun.
Well, I think the parts people are going to respond to in this are the more fantastical, unique elements. Like, that's the kind of stuff you should push. And by trying to make it like the dark, gritty Mortal Kombat take, I mean, why can't they have any fun? Just have fun with it. When Goro pops up, Goro isn't scary. You know, they play him as scary, but it's a giant CGI four-armed... It's goofy looking. Everything in this movie is so goofy, and the seriousness with which it's treated is, at times, laughable.
He's about to get his soul sucked.
You're never going to be able to give every character their due in one movie. The 90s movies prove that as well, where Scorpion and Sub-Zero, they're just kind of dudes who show up. And the villains in this all kind of feel like that, even though Cabal, my boy Cabal, sick as hell. There's not that much to talk about because it feels like a prequel to the interesting stuff. There is more Mortal Kombat stuff that even the layman like me will recognize, but that's not what was missing. The movie has definite strengths and things that it should put more time into, like Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Everything with them, I think, works. Maybe I was being unfair earlier because I forgot that Cole started the movie fighting in an MMA cage and he loses. And then at the end, he fights in an MMA cage and he wins. And that's what we call a character arc.
Part of me is wondering why they chose the MMA ring to be the place that they had their final battle and not, I don't know, the Shirai Ryu compound from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Like old and decrepit, but like, you know, probably icy and everything.
And a cage in the middle of it for no reason.
Cage in the middle of it for no reason.
Well,
but
it could be, he could have built a big fucking ice cage.
Next time I see you, I will bring armies.
The sequel baiting in this is just embarrassing. It borders on outright just sad.
I am curious as to who they were talking about is going to be in Hollywood.
Where are you gonna go?
Hollywood.
Hollywood? What the hell's in Hollywood? Hollywood.
Looking forward to potentially dozens of Mortal Kombat sequels, what is one thing you hope they get right?
Quan Chi.
Yeah?
I don't remember much from Mortal Kombat Annihilation, but I'm pretty sure Quan Chi wasn't in it. And Quan Chi is kind of the whole reason as to why Sub-Zero killed Scorpion's family and then, you know, all this stuff happened. So technically, it would make sense in this universe.
I hope they get a better handle on the tone. Like we said, I want them to go lighter, or at least embrace the goofy stuff, because whenever they get into the action scenes, they're clearly having so much fun with the cartoonish brutality of it, because there is so much fun to be had there. I just pray that in between those cool fight scenes, it's not a bunch of people sitting in darkly lit rooms telling each other their backstory and about how cool they are and about how mysterious they are and how great they are, and just pep talk, fight, pep talk, fight, pep talk, fight, pep talk. It's just exhausting. Do something else, please, God. This doesn't stand out to me as anything special any more than really any contemporary video game movie does. I can point to the same issues with tone and characters and story, but what it really comes down to is it's just kind of boring and blech, and I just feel like I'd rather be playing this story than watching it. Mortal Kombat 2 2024 could be incredible, and we could eat crow, and I'd be happy to, but it won't, because video game movies are bad, and they will not stop being bad.
I know, I've seen you kick his ass before, but he's got a laser now. Watch out for that.
You know what? I didn't mind Cole's family. I will say that.
I'd like to see them again.
I was expecting them to do she's the beleaguered ex-wife and the daughter loves him, but it's so hard because he keeps fighting. But no, they were just a nice, happy family. And if you're going to force a family in there, Hollywood style, I'll take a nice, happy family who seems to like being around each other. A rarity in film.